Hey, welcome back to the shop. Been a long time since I've done a video. Partly because I got COVID, and then because of COVID, I threw a clot and had a heart attack. But that gave me the impetus to make a new resolution. I'm spending all my kids' inheritance on tools. And with that, we're getting a new table saw. Professional Series 3 horsepower and a 36-inch T-glide fence. Now, this is what it's like when you're an adult and you get to pretend that it's Christmas. First couple boxes weren't really very heavy, but the big one, it was heavy. And I did manage to stand it up by myself, believe it or not. Rolled it in the shop so I could put it together. At the time in this video, I've actually had this saw for about 7 months, and I love it. See here, I'm doing the dust connection, and the dust connection works really well because there's a shroud all around the blade, which makes for really good dust collection. Now the only thing you really need is probably a second pair of hands or a good clamp and a ledger board to help you hold all the cast iron pieces, which are a little tough, but you know, if you're halfway mechanical, this wasn't a big deal. The important part is making sure it's all level and on the same plane. Actually just got the cast iron wings tight because we're going to put the rails on, and you'll see here that I can't do anything left-handed. I don't even know what the point was. Finally I went right-handed, and you get the rails into place, and that way you're going to be able to adjust the perfect height and plane of all the cast iron tables. So make sure your notches in your rails line up with the notches or grooves in your table saw, or your sliding sled won't slide. Extension table's made of wood, and you got to put this little fitting in here so that when you attach all these other little fittings that hold the legs and everything, you're going to pop that thing in, and that other little fitting slides underneath and attaches right down in there in the middle where I can't reach. A lot of working off the knees on this project. The only thing that was really technical was putting on the T-glide fence and making adjustments on that, which really wasn't that hard at all. What I forgot to show was the installation of the cartridge in the blade, which takes a little fine tuning, and there's a tool for that. Okay, this thing is put together, and it wasn't really that hard. The directions are really good. Big old laminated sheet, easy to read. The hardware packs that come all color-coded, really easy to use. Now this has to go there, but there needs to get moved. And there is too wide to go out through the shop entrance, so we gotta cut it up and move it all out. So the old outfeed table had screws that were in the top, which got full of sawdust, and there was like no way I was gonna unscrew them, and I just broke them right off. And then eventually was able to roll, didn't roll so easily, but I rolled it out of the shop. Next video is going to be the new outfeed table, which will all mount from underneath. Well, it looks like the old spot needs some spring cleaning. Okay, we've got it in place. I slid it here on my own. Think I'm going to buy the mobile base. Ran a new circuit, and I think it works. Let's see. We have success. This is my review of the 3 horsepower SawStop 36-inch T-glide fence. When it comes to comparing this to other saws that are out there that are just as good, it's debatable about which ones are better. The SawStop is a great saw. 3 horsepower motor, 36-inch fence, cuts like glass, but I hear people disparage it because it's expensive. They say, oh yeah, if you're careful and all that stuff, you know, it's never gonna be a problem. But how many times do you have to not be careful to lose a finger? So I don't follow the arguments that the SawStop's not worth it. but everybody's got their opinion. So anyhow, I'd like to see what yours is. I love this saw, always wanted one, finally got it. Now we're just going to continue buying more tools. So watch these other videos and see what tool I buy next. Like and subscribe.